Well, I do declare that the Boise stage stop has the absolute nastiest men's room, nasty trucker turds that I've experienced. Was that your experience, Jim?
Let's see. We want
84 East. Got to take a right here.
okay.
Our goal today is to make it past or around Provo. Maybe a little past. We'll see how it goes. Solar panel fields. It's quite a view. Twin Turds, Idaho. Yeah, these mesas are pretty incredible. Okay, well, just let me know. Smells like cow shit.
It might be easy for the other
Or spraying with airplane. Don't see that every day. Be able to get some good, carcinogens. It's quite a barn. There's some manure fields. Record?
It's
Djokovic and
it's a record number of meetings.
50. How many times? 52.
This is the 52nd.
Between Djokovic and Nadal. Somewhere.
Wow, look at all that black smoke coming from this thing.
Ew. That thing is dragging. Well, maybe not. It just blew out there's no rings left and it's the motor. Well, it looks clear now. Woo! Get around this fucker. say that because we have Washington State tags. However, soon to be changed. In fact, that is something we need to do so we can vote down there. You know, maybe not changing the tags, but, well, getting driver's license. Well, you have to anyway, don't you?
I have my ID.
Oh, that's right, you do. So you don't have to.
No, it's just a fingerprint card, though.
Yeah, it's for work. Well, I'm going to... Well, because I think getting licensure in Arizona is vastly cheaper than Washington, even though we're paid up for, 6 months. Oh well, things to do. Good going, passing these schmoes.
There's going to be behind another window.
It's the burbs. The Amber Inn. That's about shit. Just imagine humans even up in here. Those greenhouses over there, I suppose. Probably. Alien autopsy? No, it could be. Up in here, there's bales of hay. That's how they're hiding it. Well, they got to do something in Twin Falls. The Lone Tree. Yeah, this is. I don't think I can stand living here, and as flat as it is, you can sort of see mountains way at a distance. What the hell is that? They're melting tires? Composting tires? Opioids can be addictive and dangerous. It only takes a little to lose a lot. Well, I mean, I've seen worse. I think it's Ham's time. I forget what their commercial was. Oh, they had a beer. They had a bear, didn't they? Ham's bear. Conveniently, this door pocket, the Subaru, is just big enough for a big boy. One, two, three, 4, 88 degrees. Except it's really 2, 3, 4. So we're an hour off Idaho. Not going to change the clock because it's going back to Pacific time in Arizona, or whatever the fuck they call it in Arizona. If you want me to drive, baby. I have a feeling Pocatello is going to be. Yeah, I mean there might be something in between, but. I can see the relative curvature of the earth up here. Don't see much. Oh, a slide. Would that look like a...
Yeah,
Yeah, but it looks like it's on a hook to a golf course. Well, that's interesting. Go golfing and let the kids get concussions. Yeah. Waterborne diseases. So the game will start with Nadal and Djokovic outside, and then
no, they won't. I don't think they would do
and then they move to the inside.
It's in the same place.
Oh,
it's
the roof
retractable roof.
Oh, the roof tracks over. Okay.
If they are going to play it, which I'm assuming they are, and they think that it's going to eventually have to be covered, then they would cover it from the start. So they wouldn't have two different
situations,
or have to interrupt the match to close it.
But why is that going to piss off the crowd?
Oh no! At first I was thinking, okay, before when they didn't have the roof, if the first match went 26-24 in the fifth, they wouldn't have time to finish the second semifinal. So those people would they'd only see like a few sets, and then it'd be called for darkness, and maybe they're not able to come back the next day. So they would be itching for the first one to end because they want to see both. But I think with the roof, they can play much later.
Flock of birds up in that sky. Good Lord, you see that?
Mm-hmm.
Those birds, are they space aliens? Wow. Wow, they're reflective. I think they're little space aliens. Nothing appealing here. There's Perkins Pancakes. There's a DQ. There's Idaho Convention Center. Off to Pocatello. Well, you had your chance.
The other opportunities.
This is probably some wisdom. No, put the U.S. out of the UN. Haunted mansions. Yes, let's get the Cobra paperwork. First thing. So you do have the forms, or they emailed them to you?
No, they sent me some forms.
Okay. So
we have the forms.
You're covered through the end of
we are both
July.
Covered
Through the end of July.
July 29th.
Okay, yes. We need to get that in there.
And then we're uncovered until September 1st.
All right. Once we get it set up, we might even have to do another month, because who knows how the people will. Well, they told you September 1st?
Yeah.
I mean, it's just
Well,
better to be safe.
I don't know for sure if you're covered. We gotta find out.
I imagine.
Yeah, I think so.
It's the same. It's probably the same way. I have to pay my part. You have to pay my part. Or accurately. No more road work. mud dump. Guess probably whatever you put in it. Oh, it's cattle. Oh, it's probably feed.
On the right. Well, Pocatello?
Ogden, Salt Lake, yes.
Okay.
We're done Ogden, Salt Lake. Yeah,
Okay.
that's what we need to do.
Take the I-84 East exit. Continue for 135 miles.
So we're not going to Pocatello,
Well,
which is fine.
Whitser Summit, 5,500 feet. Lovely Airstream. This looks a little newer, but maybe not. Approaching Utah. Welcome to Life Elevated.
Welcome to Utah.
Salt Lake City's 109, Ogden 73, Snowville is 7. So let's look at Snowville and see.
All right.
There's hay. Box Adler County off I-84.
Alright,
That's
so
their
I
claim to
guess
fame.
it's this exit.
Yep. Snowville. There's a cafe up there. There's the ranch house on the left. And there's a cafe.
Let's explore a tiny bit.
There's free coffee at the ranch house. That's nice.
In 1,000 feet, turn right onto 100 North.
Home cooking. Molly's.
We go straight, right?
Do you want to go here?
Let's go to the town.
This is a town. Darling. Ha ha.
I think it's going to be the ranch house, but...
It's on the left.
I know.
Okay, you want to see what it is? All right.
Take the next right onto 100 North.
Well, there's 100 North. I don't know where the hell that takes you.
In 600 feet, turn right onto 1st Street East.
Where's the school?
Okay, in 500 feet, turn right onto 200 North.
Oh, stop.
Take the next right onto 200 North.
In school zone.
Okay, take the next right onto West 2600 North Street.
Christmas decorations. It's a party. She's probably trying to get a cell connection. Elementary. Well, that implies there's a high school, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's a nice little garden area. See the cafe on the left? It's Coca-Cola.
Okay.
But that's up to you. Whichever one you want to do. Cafe might not even be open. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, the ranch house too. It's lovely. Reading material at Molly's.
I'm going to have to talk to Molly about these straws, these plastic straws.
Oh, that's right. Molly's going to have to get a little lecture from the Seattle people. These evil things. Evil. Molly's looking down. I don't know how much she'd appreciate that. I swear, is this the Rough Riders? Can't tell. Patty Mill. Open face beef. It's pretty damn good. Rather stunning opening up.
Continue for 1 mile.
Very odd combinations of power line configurations. Honeyville. Signage. That's not very interesting. Virgin rib. $7.99 prime rib. Well, that's Ski Nevada. It's not bad. Crystal Hot Springs. We go hot springing. Oh, half price. Here's what you need, Joe. You can have your YouTube channel on a billboard. I'm only assuming that he's going to watch this. That's rather presumptuous of me. Looks like a little older Airstream. Dinty. It's very livable. Range bulls. All these big power lines, I suppose they all originate in Hoover Dam. Making their way up here. See the spires?
Yeah. That's not where we went, right?
No.
That's much smaller.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Smaller anyway. Maybe not much smaller.
evolution for you. Temple Square. Free tours, music, and inspiration. Monsanto Farm Grain Co-op is what it is. Ogden. Friday at 4:30. Just hitting rush hour. I guess it's better to hit it here than Salt Lake. U.G.L.Y, Salt Lake. Yeah, there are lots of homes up in the hills. Rush hour Friday traffic.
Okay, in half a mile, keep left at the fork to stay on I-15 South.
Petroleum, or some kind of refinery. Rather nasty looking. I'm certainly glad we're not going north. Petroleum holding tanks, chemical holding tanks or something. Salt Lake downtown that hopefully we're going to miss. Well, I don't know. Maybe the road goes through downtown. Oh, and there is domed capital, capital, and more refineries. costs Memorial Day. That's not bad for summer, I would think. Welfare Square. The Mormons have their own grain lockers. Stay on 15, baby. All rather ugly. Good God, there's a lot of lanes. Rice bowls. Yes, our little slowdown. God, all this traffic. Salt Lake City goes on and on and on and on.
The community has had an opportunity to see draft legislation and has had an opportunity to comment directly to public officials.
The inland port has been plagued by scandal since lawmakers created its governing board in a last-minute bill during the 2018 session. House Speaker Greg Hughes resigned from the board last month due to a conflict of interest. Nicole Nixon, KUER News.
The Utah man accused of spying for China was arraigned in federal court today in Salt Lake City. 58-year-old Ronald Rockwell Hansen pleaded not guilty to 15 charges related to his alleged attempts to share national defense information with a foreign government.
Hansen
the
was
Justice
another
Department
one
says Hansen, a
years
former
ago.
defense intelligence officer, received at least $800,000 for acting as a Chinese agent. If convicted of attempted espionage, Hansen faces a maximum penalty of life in prison. He was arrested last month in Seattle just before he was scheduled to board a flight to China. In Salt Lake City now, fair skies, 96 degrees in Brigham City, 96 degrees and fair. You're listening to KUER News. I'm Bob Nelson.
Support for NPR comes from this station and from Neon, presenting Three Identical Strangers, a film about triplets separated at birth and the conspiracy that kept them apart. Three Identical Strangers, now playing in select markets. From the New York Times, covering issues that affect everyone, including immigration, the Second Amendment, and sexual harassment. Journalists at the New York Times are committed to reporting the facts.
17 miles to the hotel.
And from the John D. and Catherine T. MacArthur Foundation at macfound.org.
From NPR News, this is All Things Considered. I'm Elsa Chang in Washington.
And I'm Mary Louise Kelly in London, where pretty much everybody all day today has been responding to, talking about, buzzing about the interview that President Trump gave to the Sun newspaper shortly before landing here in the UK. Along with the Prime Minister, President Trump also tore into the Mayor of London. That would be Sadiq Khan. So we have come to London City Hall. We're standing up on a balcony up near the roof. We're looking down over the Thames River. Tower Bridge. It's a beautiful, serene setting. Not a serene day here in London, and we're going to ask Mayor Khan to respond. Mayor Khan, welcome to All Things Considered. Nice to see you.
The boxing.
Speak with you. I'm holding a copy of The Sun, which, as you know, has a scathing interview with President Trump today, in which he tears into you for doing a terrible job as mayor and doing a terrible job keeping this city safe. What's your response?
One of the great things about our city and our country is we have a free press, and we also have the right to protest, the right to free speech. On the particular point President Trump made in relation to terrorism and me being responsible for this terrorism. In London last year, we unfortunately lost 14 people tragically because of terrorist attacks in our city, and they're still in our thoughts and prayers. One of the comforting things was the response from our friends around the world, including from America and Americans, the love, the support, the solidarity they showed. And by the way, in Manchester, 22 people lost their lives. Paris, Berlin, Brussels, Nice, It's an evil we're all grappling with terrorism.
That's the point being President Trump isn't attacking
for
men.
President Trump to answer why he's singling me out as the mayor of London, not mentioning the other mayors. So he's got to explain why he's doing that. It's not for me to do so.
What about his attack on Theresa May?
Well, he's entitled to have his views. I'm not going to rise to the individual things President Trump says. I'm hoping during the course of his visit, he sees a city and a country very comfortable with ourselves, very comfortable with our diversity. That's something we should celebrate, not be scared of.
Speaking of protests, down near Parliament today, a giant Trump baby blimp signed off on this.
Ugly from
You have history of bad blood with President Trump. Is this your way of taking a pot shot at him?
It really isn't. Let me tell you why it really isn't. But one of the things that we're really proud of in our country, as indeed Americans are in their country, is freedom to protest and freedom of speech. It's not for me to be a censor. Let me give an example of the freedom to protest. So today in London, there are protests taking place. You mentioned the moon. Tomorrow there's the protests in our city from the extreme far right, from pro-Trump supporters. I mean, agree with the extreme far right, but they should be allowed to protest. The key thing is it should be peaceful and it should be safe. And the idea in 2018 that we should be stopping people protesting in innovative ways they found to protest.
But the blimp is such a striking visual, which will be the image beamed around the world of London, the city you run, all day today. It will be seen as London raising a middle finger to President Trump.
What it should be seen as is a beacon of the rights of Londoners to protest. And by the way, one of the things that the US and the UK have in common is our special relationship. And that special relationship has led to us defeating fascism, who wants to curtail our rights of free speech and freedom to protest. One of the great things about being a Londoner and having the values that we have is that we get to protest. You may not always agree with them. You may think sometimes they're not as conspiracy and as humorous as you'd rather be so, but you can't just allow those protests to take place that you agree with 100%.
But is there any limit to what you would allow? If somebody wanted to float a blimp of a naked Theresa May over Parliament, that would be okay?
The limitations are quite clear. They're there in the rules. They've got to be peaceful. They've got to be safe. It's really important that police...
A naked Theresa May blimp would be peaceful and safe.
It's really important.
Would that be all right?
It's really important the police sign off on them as well. So blimp has got to be signed off by City Hall staff, simply by the police and the National Traffic Services as well.
But you run this, Chad. You allow this.
Well, can you imagine what your listeners would think if there were politicians containing free speech, containing the right to protest simply because somebody's offended? What's next? The key thing is it should be done in a peaceful manner. It should be conspirated.
Mayor Khan, thank you for taking the time.
My pleasure.
That's Sadiq Khan, the mayor of London.
In the early 1990s, a pair of hikers out in the Italian Alps made a discovery. A frozen man who was more than 5,000 years old. He has since been named Utsi after the mountain range where he was found. Utsi has told us a lot about what life was like 5,000 years ago. Scientists have analyzed his sheepskin coat, his goatskin tights, his tattoos covering his skin. And Dr. Frank Meixner of the Institute for Mummy Studies in Bolzano, Italy, joins us now to talk about what Utsi ate. Welcome.
Hello, also to you.
So I understand it took about 30 years to figure out what was inside his stomach because his stomach was shoved high up into his rib cage?
That's correct. Moved up due to the mummification process under the ribs, and it is now positioned in this unusual position, which was a long time overlooked also.
Okay, so what was in that belly?
First surprise was really the high fat content we saw there. So it was obvious that a meal with high fat in this case, and we saw also traces of animal and plant remains under the microscope.
And what kind of meat?
The meat we traced to the ibex and to the red deer.
An ibex is a kind of mountain goat.
That's correct. So it's a mountain goat which lives here in the Alpine area, which obviously has been hunted 5,000 years ago.
Does this confirm what we thought humans way back then ate? It was mostly meat, right? Like, I'm thinking the paleo diet is all about high protein, and this kind of confirms that people thousands of years ago did eat a lot of protein.
Yeah, specifically in this situation, we have to really see also here the limitation of the study. It's one single individual we now looked at. It's maybe not so easy to generalize, but definitely he ate what he needed in this situation. So we can imagine he was hiking in about 3,000 meters altitude. It's a harsh environment, very cold, and you need energy in this case.
So you have looked at his skin, you have looked at his clothes, you've looked inside his stomach now. What is next for poor Utsi?
Yeah, we nearly looked at everything, that's true, but I think what is nice, that's with the new development of new techniques, more sensitive techniques, we can go further. And what we saw already now in the DNA-based analysis, that there are still traces of this so-called gut microbiome present.
What is that?
It's the bacterial community which thrives in the gut of humans, and we try to reconstruct now this ancient gut microbiome, since it's really important to understand there how this maybe changed to nowadays gut microbiomes.
So that's the next step in this big study of Ötzi, is to look at the bacteria in his stomach?
Yes, since the bacteria are always linked to the food, so what you eat then shapes the bacterial community, and we think here it would be really interesting to see what bacteria were still present at this time, since the diet quite substantially changed to our nowadays diet.
Will Ötzi continue to be on display for the public to see as you're doing all these studies on him?
Yes, that's the case. He's in a conservation chamber which has also a window where people can look at the mummy, and it's displayed here in Bolzano, in Italy, continuously to the public.
That was Dr. Frank Meixner of the Institute for Mummy Studies in Bolzano, Italy, joining us via Skype. He's the lead researcher.
Well, you don't have to go to Mount Rushmore. Just to the freeway. And 10 miles from Provo, and it's still just packed. Yay. Did you get that?
269.
269. Exit to University Parkway. Brigham Young University.
In half a mile, use the right 2 lanes to take exit 269 for Route 265, University Parkway. Use the right 2 lanes to take exit 269.
And at last, in the Courtyard Marriott, which is a little pricey, but that's what Jim wanted. This is very nice. It was a pain in the ass. I had to get one of the boys to find a cart to haul in our shit. I may make a comment if in the morning I can't get another one. I walk the halls. There's some of our stuff that we did. But here's Provo. This is kind of a nice little outside the window shot. Anyway, I'm gonna go down and finally have a drink with Jim. I think that will be the end of our day 2. Tomorrow, I think, we're heading to Lake Powell.